Good evening, and welcome to Sundays with M&Ms. This is Teresa with the M&M Team Realty. How are you guys doing today? I hope you are getting ready for Christmas. I hope you're being safe, and I hope you're having fun. So today, I want to continue our conversation that we talked about last week, and I want to talk about property taxes. Last week, we talked about Prop 19 and what does it mean. So today we're going to talk about property tax and how are they assessed. When you purchase a new home, your property tax is assessed for 4 reasons. So let me give you a little background. In 1978, California voters passed Proposition 13. You guys remember that, don't you? Yes, which substantially reduced property taxes. And as a result of this, the maximum levy, so the maximum tax, cannot exceed 1% of a property, the assessed value. And the increase in the assessed value, they're limited to 2% annually. So now, there are only 4 events that can cause a reappraisal. And I am here in Southern California, and I'm talking about Southern California taxes. If you're in a different state, if you're watching me someplace else, it may be a little bit different for you. So here in California, the 4 events are that can cause your taxes to be reappraised are a change in ownership. So I sell my house to someone else, then a change in ownership occurs. A complete new construction. I decided to tear the house down and rebuild it. Or a new construction that's partially completed on the lien date, January 1st or after, or a decline in value. So if your property tax does decline, they can do a reassessment, but it's going to be up to you to kind of make sure that that happens. Let's talk about now change in ownership appraisals. And we all know when a property is publicly recorded, a transfer occurs. The assessor, which is the tax assessor, they receive a copy of the deed and they determine whether the reappraisal is required under state law. The date of the reappraisal is generally the recording date of the deed that transferred the ownership. So, however, the reappraisal of the property acquired by inheritance, from an estate or living trust occurs as the date of death of the property owner, not as the date of distribution to the beneficiary. So now, if required, an appraisal is made to determine the new market value. So when you hear me talking about probate sales, and I'm working with my clients and I tell them that you need to get an appraisal as of the date your loved one passed away, they do that so that they can determine the value. So upon notification of the new assessment, the property owner has the right to appeal the value if he or she doesn't agree with it. The transfer of the property between a husband and a wife and the registered domestic partner, if you guys are together and you're not married, does not cause a reappraisal for property tax purposes. This includes transfers resulting from death, divorce, or termination of a domestic partnership. Also, addition of the joint tenants, whether they're related or not, does not result in a reappraisal. In most cases, transfer by an irrevocable trust are reappraisable. There's several exclusions available for certain qualified situations, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about supplemental tax. When you sell your property or when you transfer the property, you get what's called a supplemental tax. And so state law requires that the assessor to reappraise the property upon change. Remember, I gave you the 4 reasons before. So let's take change in ownership. That's the easiest one. When you're in escrow, you're going to pay prorated tax. The seller is going to pay their portion up to the point where the home sells. You're going to pay your portion up to the new tax year. The taxes are reassessed on July 1st of every year. So you're paying your portion. When the assessor receives the recorded information that the property has changed hands, they do an assessment on that date. Let's say there's a difference. It could be $100, it could be $200, it could be $1,000. The supplemental assessment is going to reflect the difference between the new value and the old value. The auditor is going to calculate the supplemental property tax, and they're going to prorate it based upon the number of months remaining in the fiscal year. So do you guys know what a fiscal year is? I'm glad you asked that question. A fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. It's not a calendar year. When I was working at the VA, we used fiscal year. So from July 1st to July 30th. A change in ownership or new construction, which occurred between January 1st and May 31st, results in 2 supplemental assessments and 2 supplemental tax bills. The first supplemental bill is the remainder of the fiscal year in which the event occurred. The second supplemental bill is for the subsequent fiscal year. I have a lot of questions of clients when they're purchasing property and they receive, hey, I got this bill, but my taxes are impounded. Do I have to pay it? What do I do? The first thing that I'm going to tell you to do is pick up the phone, call your mortgage company, and say, hey, I have this bill. Does my impound, the money that's put into savings just to pay that, does my income cover this? Do I have enough money there? They may say, yes, send us the bill and we'll pay it. Or they'll say, no, we only collect for your annual taxes and you have to pay it. Either way, give your mortgage company a call. If you have questions and if you would like to know more information about taxes, how property is assessed, what does it mean, what is the new tax rate? Usually the new tax rate is going to be based on the appraised value, which is the purchase price when you purchase your home. So I want you to remember that. If you have any other questions, I'd really love for you to reach out to me. If you're watching me on Facebook, if you're watching me on Instagram, please make comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you had an experience where you received a tax bill or a supplemental bill and you didn't know what to do with it and you weren't quite sure? I'd love to help you. If you're watching this as a later rebroadcast on YouTube, please comment. I'd love to hear your questions and answer. I want to be that go-to person for you. So that's why we're doing Sundays with M&Ms every Sunday. And I have a little treat for you guys too. This week, I'm going to make 2 additional posts for the next 2 weeks. So let me know, comment, what would you like to hear? I'd love to share with you. What I want you to do, if you're on Facebook, I want you to direct message me. If you're watching on Instagram, send me a direct message. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you like Sundays with M&Ms and you want to hear more, please click the subscribe button. I'd love to add you so that you can be notified. And remember to click the little bell.